Hey, welcome to another episode of Monetary Therapy. I'm Elio Harmon,
And I'm Travis Kendall.
and today we'll be talking about what money is on a macro or a overall level.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
All right, let's go. So, monetary therapy.
Yep.
What are we talking about on this podcast, just in general?
Just in general, man, it's about money, building wealth, understanding what money is, and then using what you learn to take advantage.
Okay, and then how trained? What are your credentials? Why should we listen to you?
You should listen to me because I was horrible at managing money. I'm just a little bit better at it, and I hope to get even better.
Process and for me too. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about either. So we're not engineers. We're not physicists or I guess economists. We're just like you, baby.
Yeah, or podcasters.
Yeah, yeah. We're trying to get that started. We'll see what happens.
We'll see if this thing crashes and burns.
Well, what better way to jump into it than having a little discussion and philosophization, I think that's a word, about what is money? What actually is the crap that we're using to buy other crap? What is it? What do you think money is?
I mean, I don't mean to get all deep just off the first question, but I think money is the way we exchange value in this
Okay.
economy. So I go to work, I have a certain skill set, I provide that skill set to my employer. There's some value added to the employer, then on to the customers that we serve. The customers give the employer money. Employer takes his cut off the top, his or her cut off the top, and then gives me a predetermined amount that we've agreed that my skills are worth to that particular employer. So I think that's generally what I think money is.
Okay. I like it. Definitely. You went more philosophical than I think I was going to go.
Okay, what do you got?
I did a little research. Forbes. I busted out some Forbes stuff. So I think this is legit.
Okay.
But basically,
You think it's legit?
I think it's. I like it. Well, I think it's
All right.
gonna be
Disclaimer: stuff we say may not be legit, but it was in Forbes, basically.
So basically, there's a couple different types of economies. We're getting real fun and interesting.
All
here.
right, let's see.
That societies can utilize as far as exchanging value and what that means.
Okay.
So the most obvious and basic one is going to be a barter system.
Right.
And so basically, I have something, and then I'm going to exchange that something for something you have.
Right.
Or I'm going to do something. I'm going to give you a service of some sort for exchange of something you have.
So give me an example, like a real world example.
So this will be, I got the shiny piece of metal here, some gold, and I need that bag of grain to feed my family. So I'm going to give you this shiny gold, and I'm going to get that bag of grain from you.
But what if I don't want gold?
Then we got to just talk back and forth and see if we can come up with some sort of trade that we both agree on.
Then you gotta starve, bro.
Nigga, I'm dead.
Cause I got all the money, bro. I got the grain. Now you have to starve because I don't want your gold.
And so the cool thing in these systems
Right.
is it really does fluctuate based on the society you're living in, and then is also what people find valuable as far as realistic things or things to do. If like during the if we go way back in history, when the plague came through Europe, wiped out 1/3 of all Europeans.
Right.
There suddenly became a huge labor shortage to work the fields. So it suddenly gave a hell of a lot more power to the people working the fields, who initially weren't even free. Like, they weren't slaves, but they didn't have freeness. They weren't free men and women.
So like they were like peasants.
Yeah, they were plebeians. They were owned by the barons that worked the land. They weren't allowed to leave the land at all. They couldn't do anything.
And they bought it. Even though they weren't slaves. Like, so the rule was you're kind of de facto slave then.
Yeah.
You don't have that much freedom anyway.
Yep. And so basically you had the pleasure and the privilege of being able to survive and live on that land. And you had protection then from the barons, but then in return you had to work the fields and you had to give your manpower over.
Right. So, but let's go back to this barter thing. So, I mean, you being you, like I know you're a hustler, right? So
I
you
hustle
got
all
gold and I got the grain, but I don't want your gold. Then you might ask me, well, what do you want? And I might say to you, well, I want a Cadillac. And then you got to go find somebody who has a Cadillac who wants gold, which is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, hopefully I can find someone that'll take my gold. So luckily, I think most of society, the people have liked gold. So I think in this thought experiment, I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Gold is it's you can carry it around,
And there's
you can
also
exchange it with other people. There's a market for it.
The ability to do work is also a huge thing too. And that's
Right.
what happened when the Black Death ripped through Europe. Is suddenly all these peasants died and just they're gone. There's only a couple of them left. These barons are like, you got to live in my land. You can't go anywhere. You got to work my fields. Suddenly they're getting a third of the amount of grain that they were getting before, amount of wood that was getting cut down. And then they're still trying to assume their power when really the peasants had all the power because there's no manpower to do the work that they needed to do to have society.
Right.
So things like that, society can make barter systems completely fluctuate and shift all over the place.
Right.
So cool. Now we got another form. Ready?
Okay,
You ready
so
for
barter's number one.
Barter's
We
one.
figured that is a pain in the butt. That
Pain in the
wasn't
butt.
going to work long term, and it's not scalable, right? So you can't be doing millions and millions of transactions a day using the barter system. It's just so inefficient.
I'm gonna run out of wheat.
Yeah, you're gonna run out of energy running around trying to find stuff that people in the barter system want to barter for.
It's all right. Okay, Jeff wants a car. Okay, if I can already get the car, I'm gonna need to get something that Tim wants because Jeff wants what Tim wants. So I'm gonna go to Tim. Tim wants some seeds to plant.
But Jeff hates Tim.
And
so he's not gonna let you bring him Tim's car.
So I gotta do something. I gotta do some chores for Tim until he wants to give me some seeds, which then he can give me some other crap that will get me.
And he just sign it over to his wife,
and then
technically you bought it from his wife and not Tim, right? Yeah, that barter is a nightmare.
A nightmare. So we got this is cool. This isn't necessarily a step up by any means, but it is a credit or debit system. So a creditor or a debtor system.
All right.
So in this system, it basically works on IOUs. So on the actual transaction, the transaction isn't over. So I hand you something, you hand me something. I do something, you hand me something in return, and the transaction isn't quite over. So it's going to be something along the lines of, instead of, hey, here's some gold for that grain, it's a, hey, I got some gold, or I'm going to get some gold. If you trust me, I'm going to give you this IOU. I'm going to give you a piece of paper. I'm going to give you a document of some sort saying, hey, at any point in the future, I owe you something. And whether it's gold or, hey, here's this, I'm going to come till your field for 3 days whenever you need me. But until you need me, I'm going to go hang out and do my thing, and then you can come calling whenever you want.
All right. So I'm the grain guy. You need some grain. You come to me. I say, hey, Travis is decent. He has a good reputation. I know his family. I know he's good for it. So then I give you some grain and I open an account for you. And I put a couple, tick marks in there for how much grain you took. And then I can call that account in at any point, right? So you've given me an IOU. I have an accounting of it, and I can call that in at any point.
Yep, and it's to the point where the authoritative figure is what's going to dictate a lot of whether or not that happens. So you were given an example just on trust. You trust me. I'm a good guy. You know my family. I'm not running off anywhere.
Okay.
You probably trust me.
Right.
But in the case of the Black Plague and all these barons and medieval ages, we're also talking, okay, I've got an IOU. If you then refuse to do the IOU, I've got literally a document that's almost like a lease of a car. Like this is real government stuff.
All right.
The king or whoever the baron that rules the land is going to come over and he's going to kill you, throw you in prison if you don't live up to what you said you'd owe.
Right. So it's like debtor's prison.
Yep. So this is a debtor or a creditor system.
Right.
That can also have transitions of wealth or have value passed back and forth through this kind of system.
Okay.
The final system is going to be the money system.
The money
system.
I like the sound of that.
So the money is going to be an agreement that a third-party thing is going to be traded in exchange for goods, services, whatever we're doing.
All right.
That third-party thing is then going to be only as powerful as the governing body or the person that's in charge and giving it credence.
Okay.
So in our case, this is kind of society we have. We used to have a barter society where we were basically trading gold for crap. And gold had whatever its value was. People started getting robbed in the streets, and they'd have big caravans of gold that would get robbed. So we're like, okay, we're going to stash all this gold into castles and into really safe, secure areas.
Like banks.
And we're going to start handing out little pieces of paper that say, hey, this is worth a certain amount of money.
Right.
Technically, we're still on the barter system using that.
Right.
Because this is good, and it's a 1-to-1 ratio good to that gold that's sitting somewhere.
As long as I think there is gold somewhere to back that up.
And so now what's happened is we've transitioned beyond a barter system, and we're using money as the value of what we're going to be able to exchange goods and services with that is not directly related to any sort of money in a bank somewhere.
Right. But I know it gets a crap load more complicated.
Yeah, and I don't know quite enough to go too complicated, and I don't want to bore anyone. So.
Yeah, watch Zeitgeist.
What is Zeitgeist?
It's some documentary, man, that's crazy. It's all over the place. It deals with the origins of religion. It deals with the origin of money and the money system. If you want good production value, I mean, you could feel multiple ways about this documentary. I just think the information explains what we just talked about in a lot more detail.
So if you want to actually know anything and learn something,
if you don't want to be confused right now, you should pause this. No, don't pause this. But you get the point I'm trying to make.
They already paused it, Elio.
Yeah, they are. They're gone. They already clicked off.
Bye.
Yeah. So no, but Zeitgeist is a good documentary. It deals with that.
So the easy, I think, example to get the money system, because we all live it, we all think we know what's going on, but it's still kind of hard to comprehend sometimes, is you think back to like Roman times.
Right.
They had coins that they had stamped pictures of the emperor on. To some extent, that was literally coins kind of started with, here's a little piece of gold, a pound and a pence and those sorts of things were called those literally by the weight of the amount of gold that was in it or whatever metal was there. Mm-hmm. But at some point, especially in the Roman system, it switched over to this is just a thing. They didn't use real gold. They were just using other cheaper metals.
Right.
And saying that the government is just saying this is worth this much.
By decree.
Mm-hmm. We're going to have so many of these, and this is what they do. And if you ever have a question, or if you ever have a concern, or if you think that's not fair, you got the picture of the emperor's face right on there, so you know who to go to. And he's going to keep the law, and he's going to say, not this is how much that's worth, this is what you can do with it, this is how much you can go wherever. And so I think really the big cool thing that I saw was the presence of the governing authoritative figure is the reason that that's present on the money. So you have the government, right? You have the emperor's face printed right there. Modern day, we have presidents right on our money.
Right.
So
and the stamp kind of prevents counterfeiting too.
Yeah, and it's a mark of who holds the power. It's not that when you have a dollar bill in your pocket in modern day that is a piece of gold somewhere in some cellar. That's not true anymore. What it is the U.S. government isn't going anywhere. We think it's going to be around. Right. And if you try to steal this from me, or if you take it without asking, or if you rip me off, say you're going to give me this, but then you don't, the U.S. government's going to come in and say, hey, can't do that, slap, 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 and exchange those bills around again.
Right.
So we're really trading with the power of the government of the society you're living in.
It speeds up transaction time.
Yeah, absolutely. No good.
Yeah, because really my understanding too is that, a lot of us think that money is actually printed. Like, when you, like you're in civics class or social studies or whatever, and they're showing you the U.S. Mint, and you literally see dollar bills coming off a printing press. Well, that's just a fraction of the money that's being generated in our economy. Really, how money gets generated is through fractional reserve banking. Now, this is a zeitgeist thing again. But fractional reserve banking basically works this way. If I mess it up, whatever, you can go research it yourself and then come back and post something wherever this is posted correcting me, okay?
You're not going to mess it up. This is true.
Okay, this is going to be perfect.
This is the Lord's word.
One take. So let's say you go to the bank and you have $10 and you put $10 in, right?
$10. Yeah, where am I putting it?
Whatever bank you want.
Oh, in the bank.
Yeah,
cool.
So you just go to the bank, you put $10 in.
What up, banker? Here's my $10.
Yeah, and now the banker takes your $10, but the government has granted the banker the right to create $100 worth of loans off of your $10.
Okay.
So let's say now so I'm the banker. So another person, not you, comes into the bank and says, I want to buy a car.
Hey, my name's Craig.
Now, all the bank has in its vault is $10.
I need $10.
But you need $50 to buy the car.
It's a real expensive car.
So the banker prints, well, not prints. The banker just enters digits into person B's account because they've been granted the right to create money. So that's really how money gets created in the system. You know, nowadays people rarely ever use cash. So the need to actually print physical money and replace old bills as they go out of circulation is like very, very rare now. We're all using credit cards, debit cards, etc. And so most of the money that's being created is actually being created as digits in a computer, not by the government, but by banks who were granted the right to do so.
So you're saying not only do the dollar bills in our pockets not one-to-one translate to any sort of gold or silver anywhere, but the numbers in our bank accounts don't even one-to-one translate to pieces of paper dollar bills sitting in people's pockets.
Nope.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it's all done. It's all electronic. It's all done by computers, and the computers are keeping the numbers.
And if you still think that we're on a barter system, that there's some relation there of gold and things like that, and even to the effect of you think we should go back to the barter system, go back to the gold standard, we're at the point of no return. We really can't, as a society, go back because we're so ingrained in this whole numbers thing and computer web.
What it would mean to our quality of life, our way of life, if we were to do a planned reset and return to simpler times, I don't think most of us could handle it. Because our lifestyle is heavily dependent upon the velocity at which money travels right now, the access to capital, use my debit card at the store, use my debit card to buy fast food. I don't think we could handle going back to everything being physical again.
I got a story.
Okay.
This actually happened to me yesterday, last night. I'm out with some friends, having fun, doing a thing. I get back to my house and I get a notification on my phone saying, hey, we detected some fraudulent activity.
Word.
Yeah. So I look at my bank account statement. There's about $200 worth of charges, $15 here, $10 here, that all happened while I was out with my friends up in Cleveland, like Maple Heights, and then into like Gerbil Heights, and then into actually the city of Cleveland. That obviously I wasn't doing and I had nothing to do with. What actually triggered the notification of fraudulent activity was the $70 tab I had out and about when I was hanging out with my friends. So they're like, oh, you're off in Maple Heights doing normal things, but then suddenly you spend $80 back in Columbus again, and they're like, oh, that's the fraud. Then I'm like, whoa, no, it's actually the other way around. It's that $200 over there. I haven't been in Cleveland in years.
Right.
But hey, that's still money. Those are still transactions. That guy still got his goods for what he got. And so now here's where the government's going to step in, try to find the dude, penalize him, and he's going to be the authoritative figure that actually gives our money any sort of value at all.
Right. Well, and I think...
also, I'm down $200, so if you could spot me, that'd be...
Yeah, dude. Listen, you're a baller, man. $200 is nothing to you, okay? The only reason why you notice is because they called you. If they hadn't called you, you would have never noticed.
I worry that that's true.
Yeah, you're balling out of control. Anyway, so... yeah, so that's what money is, but I think money is also beyond just that simple definition of what we just talked about.
Okay, in what way?
Because money has been elevated to such a high level in our society and in our consciousness that it has become, for some, and you know, I'm going to challenge you on this, maybe the majority of people, the reason why they do most of the things that they do. I mean, beyond just the definition that it's an exchange of value and you needed to go to the grocery store and stuff like that, I think a lot of people organize their lives around getting money, spending money, what money can do, what money means, status, and all of that stuff.
No, you're acting like this is a bad thing.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing one way or another, but I guess the show is really about understanding what value money truly has and the things that it can legitimately get for you, but then the things that it can't get for you, but it's billed as a way of gaining those things. So I don't know if I'm saying that, if I'm expressing myself the way I really want to, but so let's say people get a job simply because they needed to pay the bills.
Okay.
Not because it's something that they want to do. It's not something that they get excited about in the morning. But money is such as that you need it. It's almost like oxygen in this economy right now. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything without it.
Yep. I agree.
You gonna leave me hanging?
I don't know. Yes. I got nothing.
Okay, so let me give you an example. So prior to, like, you know, in previous episodes we talked kind of my background experience with money, but it goes to it's an education about a thing that's so important that we don't get educated about. It's kind of like, you know, health, right? You just kind of get pushed out there. Hey, you need to do X, Y, Z. Stay healthy. If you do the opposite, you get sick. Well, I think and I think this is what this podcast is all about, is educating people about this thing called money that most of us coming up, growing up, even maturing, and for some people going into their old age, never really get sat down and told, this is what money is. This is how you earn it. This is how you use it. You should save, invest, because at some point you won't be able to earn it by working. So you need to have money working for you.
Right on.
So, you know, let's say you go to work and you earn $10. If you look at the statistics right now in the United States, the savings rate, I think, is about 3%, maybe a little bit less. That's over what it was pre-crash, which was a negative savings rate. So people are really spending this thing called money, what they trade the hours of their life for, at a faster rate than they're potentially earning it. Because if you're only saving 3% of the money that you earn, there's no way, well, let me not say no way. It's going to be really, really, really tough for you to deal with all the curveballs that life is going to throw at you in terms of emergencies. If you haven't started a family, starting a family, having a kid, hospital bills, et cetera, et cetera. And then ultimately what you're going to do at the end of your life is you start to get older and you can't work anymore in terms of putting money away for retirement. So this show is really meant to open up a conversation around what is money, you know, as it flows into my life. How do I manage it, and how do I get it to accomplish for me the things that I desire to accomplish?
So money isn't it doesn't have a one-to-one relationship with value. Money doesn't equal value, because there are other things that we can value that it isn't money and we can't pay for. Family, friends, relationships. Mother passes away, all the money in the world isn't going to recreate that value there.
Well,
right.
Yeah, I think the way that I've come to grips with money, and my definition of money is the best employee you will ever hire. Okay. So I look at the money that flows into my life either as I'm spending my most valuable employee, or I'm putting my most valuable employee to work. And so by kind of shifting my mentality and thinking more like a business owner, I would prefer to have a company with a lot of very productive employees working for me, because I've now redefined money as employees. And so if I have X number of dollars out there working for me, it reduces the amount of work that I have to do myself in order to generate additional income.
And there will be a time when you can't work.
Hopefully.
I mean, well, yeah, hopefully it doesn't just end tomorrow. Some jerk hits me with their car.
Hopefully I grow old. Yeah.
But planning and knowing that that's probably a probability, double P there. We want to go ahead and have our employees working for us now, gaining a little bit, saving a bit, so that when we do maybe retire one day, that we can do that, because then we still have employees left to keep working for us.
And that's the key thing is, that should really be not per se, I've accumulated. Well, look at me first, which I think is a big issue with money. Money really, if you have the wrong perspective on it, the thing that prevents a lot of people from accumulating these employees is that they're more interested in looking rich materially than actually being rich or accumulating wealth. And in this society, if you aren't educated about the statistics regarding money, people the actual savings rate, the actual rate of investment, the retirement crisis that we're faced with in the U.S., you would assume that everybody is doing really, really well. And that's the also the deeper issue of money, which is when money becomes debt, right? So it's one thing when money it's in its let's call it in its purest state, which is earned, right, dollar for dollar.
Dollar for dollar.
But it becomes really tricky when money is now when it becomes debt, and debt is the means by which people are accumulating material things. So the credit card, the car loan, the student loans, which is, I mean, we won't even go there. But student loans, it's, I really couldn't afford to go to college, but I took out these debts, and now I was able to purchase this thing, but I really didn't purchase it with money one-to-one. I have now mortgaged my future earnings, my work life, to pay back this debt.
So you've mortgaged your employees to hopefully in the future have the capability of getting more employees to then start selling off the old employees to then give your new employees to the bank.
You said employees like 7 times, dude.
I think that's...
Okay, so here's what I think. I'm going to blow your mind. 'Cause you told me before this show you were going to blow my mind. I'm about to blow your mind right now.
Did I miss the mark?
So let's say you want to go to college.
I did.
You got to see a guy who has employees.
Okay. Like, is he the professor? Who's the guy? Is this the bank?
No,
is this
the bank.
loan?
The bank.
Is this
Yeah,
loan?
where you
Okay.
get the loan. So he has employees.
So
That's
Craig,
the only reason.
Craig's back over there again. Yep.
Yeah.
He's got his
He's
Corvette.
the only reason. His employees are the only reason why you go see him.
Okay.
And he says, okay, I believe in you. I'm going to lend you my employees, right? But you got to pay me back all my employees I lend you plus more.
Okay.
So essentially, his employees have now employed you. So you're working for him. So not only is his money working, he also now has you and your earning power as an employee for him. I use the male term, but he or she, banker could be anybody, now has you working for their gain rather than, instead of paying back that loan, imagine if you were using those loan payment dollars towards your own investment strategy.
Which is what I did, right? I'm just investing in my strategy was to learn more, right? That's what college was for me.
Well,
why did I go to college, Elio?
Dude, that's a whole nother episode. But there was a survey done. I forget, and I don't have the information with me right now. They asked.
Unprofessional.
Yeah, but whatever. Nobody cares. As long as you said, well, according to a survey, people are just going to take it for granted that you actually pulled one up.
I'm sure some survey said this somewhere, but I'll tell it to you anyway.
Yeah. There's no bibliography to this show. So
we should put a link to the Zeitgeist thing, though. Maybe
definitely.
I'll try to figure out what Forbes article I got that barter stuff.
Now,
from.
be careful with Zeitgeist. If you're like super religious one way or another, it's one of those things that people get upset sometimes. But if you're chill and you're open-minded and you're confident enough in your own faith that you can watch contrary ideas, then check it out. But I wouldn't point you in a direction that where you would like lose your faith or confidence in what you believe. Okay,
well, don't worry, because Mom's the only one to listen to us anyway. So
my mom would lose it if she watched Zeitgeist.
That's like two. Like we have 2 viewers, both of our moms, and then we're losing one on episode 3 or 4 or whatever this is.
That's right. So
thanks.
Yeah, but anyway, what the heck were we talking
poll,
about before
the survey?
Yeah. Okay, so the survey, right? So, okay. So basically, what the survey said, it asked students in the West. West meaning like Europe and everything west of that. So us too. Yeah. Why do you want to go to college? Number one answer. Would you guess what it is?
To be able to earn higher wages in the future.
Yeah. Nobody goes to school to learn.
Okay.
Okay. So my point exactly.
Yeah.
You didn't go to college to learn, dude. You went to college for the promise of making more money.
I went to college to get a piece of paper that then would hopefully get me a better job in the future. Yeah.
And here's the thing. You could ask that of medical students, which is scary. You can ask that of engineers. You can ask that of nuclear physicists. Didn't matter the major. When asked, why did you want to go to college? Number one reason was to make money. Okay? That is how important money is in this society.
That's why I went to college. Thank you, Elio.
You see what I'm saying? So
You figured it out. You told me why. I asked you why did I go to college, and you gave me the answer.
and besides appearing wealthy, which is one of the top reasons why people spend money, is they buy status things. I'm guilty of this. I guess to a certain extent we all are. But
You wearing a watch? Jeez, Elio. Status.
dude, I love watches. At least I don't have 4-carat earrings in my ear right now. How would they know?
I don't know. We gotta take pictures or something.
But this watch is blinding me right now. It's blinged out, man.
All right, finish this out.
Okay, so here's a quick show recap, man. Money started as one system. It ended up being something completely different now.
And multiple of them all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It evolved. Probably is going to continue to evolve.
No, I think it's done. I think this is it.
You think it's just going to crash? And it's mostly digits in a computer now.
Okay.
And it's an exchange of value. I guess we all agree to that.
I like that.
However, it's still this mysterious thing that we don't all quite understand, or we don't all really manage very well. And hopefully through subsequent episodes, we'll learn more about money management, money investing, and things of that nature.
And that was episode 6. What is money? Now you should know so many things about the monetary therapians, things we have to deal with on an everyday basis standpoint.
I like the word therapians.
Therapians. My name is Travis
Kendall.
Kendall.
Like Sarah Palin.
Sarah Palin, therapians.
It's like you said Sarah Palin while you were having a seizure.
Hey, call 911, Elio. My name is Travis Kendall.
My name is Elio Harmon.
Coming up next week, we have episode 7. We're going to talk a little bit about how people get money. Should be a good one. Tune in. See you soon.
Peace.